Alright guys, so if you missed, let's see if I can actually make this a little better. Nope, that's blurry. Go this way. I'm trying to make this better. Okay, I think this is as good as we're going to get. I don't know why it's being funky. Okay, so if you missed class on Monday, 2/27, this is what we did. Just a quick recap of everything that we have done. Your table of contents should look like this. We've added a few pages. Page 34, factoring out the GCF of a polynomial. Page 35, parts of a polynomial. Page 36, are you ready? Page 37, Unit 5 and 6 test. Page 38, naming polynomials, which is the first thing we did on Monday. And then page 39 to 40, which you might have started or didn't start at all, and that's why you're watching the videos to come. Okay, so this is page 34. Page 35, which is the videos that are posted before. You did with the sub, parts of a polynomial. Page 36, some of you have gotten this back, some of you did not. It's the classwork that we did with the sub. Okay, so page 36, are you ready? Page 37 is your unit test that we took. Again, some of you have gotten it back, some of you have not. And then page 38 is naming polynomials, okay, which we did today on 2/27, and we're going to go through this. All right. Okay, so during this video, take your time, pause it when you need to, stop, go back, whatever you need to do. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, a little better. Maybe that's better. Looks a little better. Okay, unroll this a little bit. So if you were here, you got this handout. If you were not, you need to get this handout. It is also located on eCampus along with this video that you can print it out if you want. It does print to a sheet. It does not have to be orange if you do not, or if you would like to wait till you get to class to get it, that's fine too. All right. So the title of this page is Naming Polynomials. It is super important that we understand how to name polynomials correctly, so that way when somebody's talking about a polynomial, especially on an EOC or 9 weeks exam, that we know exactly what they're talking about. All right. So we're going to get started here. All right, so polynomials have first names and last names, and that's why it's kind of split this way. All right, so for our polynomial's first name, so for a polynomial with one and only one variable right now, the degree is the largest exponent of the variable. Okay, so for a polynomial with, let's see if we can somewhat get this better. I think that's as good as we're going to get. Okay, so for polynomials, for a polynomial with one variable, the degree is the largest exponent of the variable. Okay, so we're only going to be working with 4 degrees. So we're going to be working with when it has a degree of 0, a degree of 1, a degree of 2, or a degree of 3. Okay, so those are our degrees. So when we have a degree of 0, okay, that means that there is no variable, right? The variable is not there. That is when we are called a constant. Okay, so you have something like 3. 3 would be a constant. There's no variable. If we had a variable, if I wrote an x and raised it to the first power, or the 0 power, which is what degree would be, we know that anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So 3 times 1 is just 3. Okay. Now, if we have something to the first power, okay, so that means the largest exponent of our variable is 1. We call that linear, and that would look something like 2x plus 1. Okay, so those are just examples. Of course, there's multiple examples I can give. Degree of 2 means that we have a quadratic. Okay, so we have something like x squared minus 4x. Okay, so our largest degree, our largest exponent is 2. And we have other exponents, but that's the largest one. And last but not least, for our degrees, we have a degree of 3. And that is called a cubic. And we have an example that could look like this: x cubed minus x squared plus 4. Again, that's the largest exponent, that's why it's cubic. Okay, so this is what we call our first name. This is the first name of our, when we're naming our polynomial. So right underneath, we're just going to write first name. Okay, it's the first name. Okay, now the last name is based off of how many terms that they have. So we should know, and hopefully if we keep doing this enough time, it'll finally sink in. Terms are always separated by addition or subtraction. Okay, so terms are always separated by addition or subtraction every time. So if you see a little addition sign or subtraction sign, it means that you have more than one term. Okay. So the terms we're looking at. Of course, we're not looking at 0 terms because 0 terms is nothing. We're going to start with 1 term, then go to 2, 3, and then 4 and up. Okay, 4 and up goes into the same line. They all have the same last name. Okay, so if we have 1 and only 1 term, we have a monomial. Alright, so we're looking at something like 3x. Okay, 1 and only 1 term. You should see some of these prefixes for monomial. So this is our base monomial, and then we're changing the prefix. We should recognize some of these prefixes from biology. Okay, mon, this mo, that means 1. So, and we're dealing with 1 term. Okay, 2 terms. That is called a binomial. Okay, a bicycle has 2 wheels. And it's 3 p.m. and so the announcement's going off. Okay, so binomial has 2 terms, like a bicycle has 2 wheels. Okay, 3 terms is a trinomial. Okay, so we have 3 terms. Like a tricycle has 3 wheels, a triangle has 3 sides, tri means 3. And last but not least, 4 and up. Anything 4 all the way up to infinity has the same last name, and that is polynomial. Okay, so we could have x cubed minus x squared plus 2x minus 5, or plus 5. I said minus, wrote plus. All right. Polynomial. Poly means more than 1. Polygons have 4 or more sides, so polygon. Polynomial. Okay, so 4 terms. All right, so this is our last name. So last name. So every polynomial has a first name and a last name. Okay, so let's do a couple examples. Our first example, and your examples should be able to fit at the bottom of your foldable, is looking at negative 7 plus 3n cubed. Okay, so here is our example. Negative 7, 3n cubed. So first thing we have to do is come up with this first name. We're looking for the largest, here's our first name, we're looking for the largest exponent. Our largest exponent is 3. Okay, so that this one has no exponent, so that's an exponent of 0. This one is 3. So 3 would be a cubic, so our first name is cubic. Okay, now it's time to count terms. So we're counting terms. 1, 2. It's separated by a plus sign. So our last name is going to be terms of 2 binomial. So we have a cubic binomial. First name, last name. Okay. Our next example, I'm sorry for my hand being in the way, but my paper keeps moving, is just 3. Okay, 3. Well, we did an example with 3, and we said that 3 was a constant, so we know that our first name is constant. Okay. Now we need our last name. Well, there's no addition sign or subtraction sign. So because there's not, it only has one term, so it's a monomial. So this polynomial's first and last name is a constant monomial. And our last example for this foldable is negative x cubed plus 4x minus 2 plus 2x squared. Okay? So again, first we need a first name. And if I'm looking at the largest exponent, okay, so if you have a highlighter nearby, let's highlight that so we know that what we're talking about, like that's very important. Largest exponent. Okay, largest exponent. So our largest exponent in this case, if I go through, I have a 3, a 1, 0, and a 2. It's going to be 3. So again, we have a cubic. So cubic is our first name. And how many terms? So how many separations from plus? 1, plus sign, 2, minus sign, 3, plus sign, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I'm on my last name, I have 4, so it's going to be a cubic polynomial. And we're done. So we named those 3 examples. Okay, so this is all there is for the notes for naming polynomials, which is on page 38 in your notebook. We did that on Monday, 2/27. Please take your time through this video, pause it if you need to, rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to do. Make sure that you get all the notes, and make sure that you understand what you're writing down. Okay? See you in class.